Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic as Non-Classic. This is episode number 620 and Doubleshot number 524. Yep, 524. I originally said for this episode I was going to do 2 JSA trades, but I figure out Comic-Con tomorrow, and I kind of want to get this book started a little way before I get this book signed by its writers. Well, and of course the library book. So let's talk about these two. Well, the kind of Batman-related ones, but this one definitely is one because she's a Batman character and she got on a series. But her series is set in its own continuity and very rarely interacts with DC Universe. And this book is Harley Quinn, Volume 1, Die Laughing. Written by Amanda Conner and Jane Palmiani with John Chims, Chad Horden, Brett Breves, Joseph Michael Linster, and Joe Thompson on the artwork. Amanda Conner and Alex Sinclair do this fantastic cover. This collects the first 7 issues of Volume 3. Now there are 2 stories in here. One is Die Laughing. This takes up the first 3 issues. It's just, well, Harley and Ivy just hanging out. Of course, also they're showering together, washing each other's bodies. It's very implied lesbianism in here. It's a really fun little story, and I really enjoy it. It just, oh yeah, and it's kind of like in the first issue, it's reintroducing pretty much anybody, kind of like a jumping on point of characters who appeared in the previous volume, like the gang of Harleys, Big Tony. Yeah, just reintroducing them to people who are jumping onto the book, like, here these characters are, and they're going to be part of the book. The final few issues in here are called Undercover Punker. Yeah, where Harley Quinn and a couple of friends go undercover with a rock band to take down something related to the Penguin. Yeah, the Penguin, who becomes a recurring character in the series. I'm not kidding. It seems like this book and Batgirl really loves using the Penguin. Yeah, God forbid the main Bat books basically use the Penguin. So I guess the general public might kind of like, Penguin's not being used by either the writer of Detective Comics or Batman. And he was using the first arc of All-Star Batman. I guess they figured, though, why not use him? No one else is. And he's a really good recurring character for the series, and I really do enjoy it. This is just pure fun, and I really enjoy it. I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's just really damn good. Yeah. Next up is Batman 66 meet Wonder Woman 77. Collected the entire 6-issue limited series. This series is set in 3 different time periods. First in 1944, where a young Bruce Wayne meets Wonder Woman during the events of World War II. Now, from this point of view, from the Wonder Woman TV show, this takes place roughly a couple years after the events of Season 1. Yeah, because if you watch the show, Season 1 takes place during 1942-ish, and then pretty much when Season 2 rolled around, they moved it to modern day, basically the 70s. And pretty much also, this series is noteworthy for the introduction in this universe of 2 really big characters from the Batman comics into this universe. Ra's al Ghul, the League of Shadows, though commonly referred to as League of Assassins, so League of Shadows is another name for them. Though for some reason, Tennant made League of Shadows and League of Assassins 2 separate organizations for some strange reason. Talia makes her first appearance in here. Clayface pops up in here as well, along with the Cheetah. Yeah, the Cheetah, which is interesting. Now, the second time period is, of course, 1966, which, of course, where the main Batman show is set. And it's pretty much, now from their point of view, apparently, according to this comic book, a young Bruce Wayne was inspired by Wonder Woman becoming an actual superhero. Okay, and also Catwoman plays a part in here too, this is probably by far the second miniseries I've read where where Catwoman plays a role in the story. Yeah, unlike in the case of The Man from U.N.C.L.E., where she plays a part for about 2 or 3 issues, here she's here for almost the entire series. I'm not kidding about that. She's here for almost the entire series as a good supporting character, which, oh yeah, and there's also a possible romance between her and Batman. Though when they jump to the 3rd time period, she stops wearing her mask for some strange reason. And I thought this was really, really weird on the part of the artist to do. Yeah, at one point, when you first see Catwoman, she looks like Eartha Kitt. Yeah, the actress who played her for season 3 of the show, for the first issue, which is supposed to be set, like, and then what, like, looks like the next day. Yeah, let me show this off here. And I have no idea why in the world that the artist basically got this confused. Yeah, because the show itself never bothered to do this. And the next time you see Catwoman, she's back to the original actress who played her on the show. Yep. Oh yeah, and I should also talk about the Bat Shield. In case you're wondering, did this ever show up on the show? Yes, it did, for about a couple different story arcs. I think it was like during the first season. Yeah, Batman very rarely uses this thing. And it is something, though, he got a chance to use the Bat Shield in here. And even on the covers, it's simply put, on the cover of this, it is, let's see, it's Alex Ross, very well giving the characters of Wonder Woman and Batman look like the actual actors playing TV show. This I don't mind because this is set in that universe. Now, in the case of the Batman show, that also takes place after season 1, roughly about 22 years, like in the 60s. Now, in the case of the first season of the show, which is commonly probably takes place, my personal guess, it could take place sometime during season 1. It's never specifically stated when during season 1, but sometime during season 1. Excuse me. And then, of course, during the last time period, where they jump straight to 1977, which is a set during the second, third season one of the TV show. And that's where they first introduced the Cheetah to this universe. And apparently, and this was happened in the second volume of Wonder Woman 77, The Trade, where Wonder Woman fought Clayface. Yeah, she fought Clayface. And now, it's never explained of why Catwoman in the 70s, despite looking a little bit older than she was in the 60s, she wears the same costume, has still the cat ears in her hair, and she stops wearing her mask. Yeah, that is never explained in here of why she stopped wearing a mask. Also, by the 70s, Batman's hair has gone gray. Well, Bruce Wayne's hair gone gray, and he's retired to being Batman. The reasoning for this is because he had a final battle with the Joker that really traumatized him. What battle it was, the comic never explains. I'm not kidding. The comic never shows the actual battle itself, what caused all this. And Dick Grayson's become Nightwing. Barbara Gordon's become the commissioner of the GCPD, and apparently she still wears a regular Batgirl costume. Except at this point she calls herself Batwoman, even though in the regular DC universe she has never called herself Batwoman. Heck, this woman is in her 20s and she still calls herself Batgirl. Yeah. Dick Grayson becoming Nightwing, that makes perfect sense. Though I thought this was a really interesting idea. When they had Dick Grayson become Nightwing, they gave him his original costume. Yeah, the costume that George Perez gave back in the 80s. Yeah, he gave his 80s costume. Which I thought that was interesting, the fact they did that. Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah, let's see here. Here we go. Yep, this is, well, it's the 70s, so why not have wear the disco collar? Yeah. So, yeah, wearing here makes perfect sense for him to do. Also, they have the first in-universe appearance of Copperhead. Yep, that is Copperhead. Fighting Catwoman, who was becoming an anti-hero, which is good. I like the fact they did that. And looking at her, she hasn't really aged that much. Oh, yeah, and also, Chief O'Hare has retired and his daughter's taken over. Oh yeah, and the Arkham Institute has officially been renamed to the Arkham Asylum. Yeah, they've renamed it back in the 70s, which, just by sheer coincidence, in the comics, that is pretty much when Arkham Asylum first showed up in the 70s, so it makes sense for that. And then when they wrap up this miniseries, after defeating Roz and Talia, Wonder Woman says, I came to town, and of course, around my retirement, because she wants to form this League of Assassins, League of Shadows are guys like, maybe we should form a league of our own. Possibly teasing the Justice League in this universe? That is interesting. I personally would love to see that. This universe version of the Justice League. Though, it kind of begs the question, where is everybody else in this time period? Like, Where's Superman? Where's the Flash, Green Lantern, and Martian Manhunter, and of course Aquaman? There's like, okay, you have two founding members just like in the form of Batman and Wonder Woman, but where are the other five? I mean, I highly doubt they're going to have Batgirl and Batwoman, of course, Nightwing join the team, because they probably have to have these to protect Gotham on a full-time basis. Yeah. Now, in the case of Dick Grayson, he's probably in his 20s at this point. In the case of Bruce Wayne, I think he's supposed to be in his 40s, but by the gray hair, it could be in his 40s or 50s at this point. They never specifically state in the show exactly how old Bruce Wayne is. I mean, here, when you see him in the 40s, he could be possibly in his, and this is just a theory, I think he might be about close to 10. Yes, I think he's about 10 years old. In the case of the 1960s, he's probably in his late 20s, early 30s. That's my personal guess. And then by the 70s, he's in his early 40s. There was costume that really changed very much. And also, I thought this was really cool. You got a chance to see the first appearance of the 70s Batmobile. Yeah. The design, I think it was Neil Adams who gave him this famous car. Yeah. Let's see if I can find here. I thought it was nice that they even threw in the Batplane in here. I thought it was a really nice touch because, well, the comic did introduce the Batplane, so why not have it show up in here? Now, here's the original car from the show. Yes. Oh yeah, and like in the comics, Ra's goes to the Batcave, which he does also in the comics as well. Talia, for some reason, has got a white streak in her hair. Now, Ra's having white streaks in his hair, that's not much of a big problem because he generally has had white streaks in his hair. Talia, never. Not that I can think of, no. Also, they have this really wonderful scene of Killer Croc, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Cheetah in a 70s attire, and the Riddler. Yep. Though, as for why Cheetah is here, I don't have any idea. It's really bizarre why Cheetah is in Arkham Asylum. I mean, it at least makes less sense that Mr. Freeze is in Arkham Asylum. He should be in Blackgate in Arkham Asylum. He's not insane, just a guy in a free suit. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see here. I know for a fact I just saw it. I know it's here. Yeah. Also, I really love the fact that for the 70s, they went with the classic Neil Adams costume. Yeah, the whole like Target thing. Yeah, I really like that. And also, here it is, the 70s Batmobile, which is a great nod to also a 60s comic because the red bat symbol. But it's a great homage to. It's pretty much the car that Neil Adams gave him in the 70s. It's a great looking car. Heck, even Nightwing points out the fact that it's a new car. Batgirl, if you look at her, I mean, look at her here. She kind of looks like the way she did during the Gail Simone run. Yeah, during the Gail Simone run, Batgirl, yeah, this is kind of the same costume. Kind of. Not exactly carbon copy. Also, it kind of looks more like that costume and maybe even the current costume she's wearing right now. And, of course, Wonder Woman's wearing, well, her 70s attire with the big, well, eagle thing. Yeah. By far, this is fantastic. And I highly recommend people are fans not only the Batman 60s TV show, but also the classic Wonder Woman live action series from the 70s. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. It's really good. Normally I get things like classics, but this is one of those occasions where it's just really good to see stuff like this in current time. I have heard that the next series for Batman to do a crossover with is Archie, which I'm thinking, Archie? Really? I'm still hoping that maybe it will cross over with the Star Trek the original series. After all, they were on the same time period. And I think that the reason why this never happened because of legal issues. Because this TV show, the rights of this show is owned by Fox. Even though Warner Bros. Owns Batman, Fox made the 66 TV show. In the case of Star Trek, it's Paramount. My personal guess is Paramount and Fox probably don't get along, and that's probably the reason we probably would never see a crossover between these two. Though we did have a crossover between Star Trek and the Planet of the Apes, which is owned by Fox. Yeah, I believe so. And let me look it up here. I believe that the films were released by Fox. Let me take a look at that. I know that the reboot was. I just want to take a look at that. But I do own the trade that collects the original series crossover with Planet of the Apes, and there's some people who did the cross between Next Generation and uh, Doctor Who Assimilation Squared, otherwise Assimilation 2, even though it's the standalone one. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Once it comes up here, yeah, Wikipedia's like a little while to look up here. Uh, where? Come on. There we go. Yes, it was released by Fox. So, okay. So there has got to be a reason why. I don't know the reasoning for not allowing these two series to cross over. I mean, they did have they did have Star Trek crossover with Legion of Superheroes and Green Lantern. So why not the 66 Batman? I mean, you can kind of use a similar plot device they used in the Planet of the Apes one. You can probably have Jeff Parker and the Tippins basically do this miniseries. This one was done by Mark Andrego as well. Yep. Yeah, I forgot to point out the writers of this thing. Besides from Mark Andrego and Jeff Parker, the artwork is done by David Kahn. Carl Kitzler and Bill Williams do the inking. I should point out Carl Kitzler because he is a legendary guy. The covers for the main series was done by Mike Aldred and his wife Laura Aldred. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's an obvious curiosity that this series happened because Warner Bros. Owns both of these two characters. Though I believe that in the case of the Wonder Woman TV show, I believe that was made by ABC. Yeah, I think it was ABC who made that show. I think the reason why that DC was like get away with it because DC does own these characters. And DC has done crossovers with idea before, so and of course Batman has done a crossover with the Team Heroes 3 times now, and it's been proved to be financially successful. So I'm thinking though, why can't Batman cross over with the original series? That's a really good question. Seriously, that is a really damn good question of why in the world these two series cannot cross over. That's the one I can think of basically that I would really love to see. They started pretty much around the same time, and both shows ended around the same time. Though of the two of them, Star Trek has been big success. The 60 TV show mostly was in syndication, but didn't get as big boom as the original series did. Yeah. And plus, also they also have the same level of budget both shows. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about the Batman TV show and the Star Trek one. They both have the same level of budget and same. It looks like the same fight choreography as well. Hmm. Also, one thing I thought was really also one I got to point this out though is that one also an additional thing. They made the Batcave kind of like the comic version of the Batcave with extra trophies in there because they didn't have trophies in the Batcave. No, it was simply in a nuclear reactor in the Batcave. Now they did keep the bat poles in there, which well why not? It makes some sense. And it's interesting though that Bruce kind of churns the Batcave to kind of what it looked like in the 70s when Neil Adams was drawing the comic book at that particular point in time. So it makes sense. And I gotta praise the artist David Kahn for doing that. Yeah. Can't think of anything else though. Oh, Steve Trevor does appear in the series. for like 2 issues. Yeah, the 1940s Steve Trevor. The one appearing in the 70s, if you watch the TV show, the one appearing in the second, third season, the Steve Trevor appears there, is not the same Steve Trevor. It's his son, despite being portrayed by the same actor. Not kidding about that. Yeah, for some reason, because they moved it to modern day, and my guess is they want to keep Steve Trevor in the show, so they made the Steve Trevor, for the final 2 seasons of the show, the ones that in the 70s, Steve Trevor Jr. Yeah, that's not a joke. They really did do that. I know this because I got partway through season 2 before I stopped watching the show. Mainly because I just haven't had a chance to finish watching. I did watch the first season, though. It was a really good show. And I did like the fact that the comic did keep to the show's continuity by having it where Wonder Woman stay in Themyscira in the 60s, so she doesn't show up in modern day in the modern day just yet. So it's great they kept the continuity with the Wonder Woman TV show. Though in the case of the previous ones, where they kind of were mild follow-ups to, well, crossovers they had on, like in the case of the crossover so far. In the case of the Green Hornet one, that's a follow-up to when Green Hornet crossover with Batman on his TV show. In the case of the Mr. Seed and Emma Peel, that one was a follow-up to an episode from the Avengers TV show. Man from Uncle, I believe that was a follow-up to an episode from Man from Uncle. I didn't take a look at it. But, yeah, mostly that was follow-up set. This is all about keeping continuity with the Wonder Woman TV show. 66 can take place any point in the show. And that's the way it is when it comes to that. So, that's really it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which definitely will be 2 JSA trades. And that will be episode number 621, Doubleshot number 525. Yep. Bye until I see you out there. Bye.